Hello ladies, today I'm very happy to be wearing a dress that I cut out a long time ago, and it is with fabric from Hobby Lobby, and some of you who have donated have helped me buy this. It's a little higher at Hobby Lobby sometimes, even with a discount, and I love this fabric and I like the dress. Probably this will be the last time I use this pattern. I've used different pieces from other patterns on it, so I can't really give you a pattern number. But going on to something else now. In the past, of course, I've said this on my blog, I'm not as concerned when sewing with trying out a new pattern as I am using new fabric. I would be happy. I'm like someone who's happy to eat the same thing every day. I would be happy with the same basic pattern with different prints. That excites me. Or put different sleeves on it. And of course, you reach a certain age and there's only a certain type of pattern that you might like. So I found some that I like. And I'm going to move on to something else next time. But I will show pictures of this and of the fabric. It reminds me of my mother's oilcloth in the little cabin table that we had on the homestead in the wilderness. And every time I saw it, something tugged at my heart. So I bought it and I like it so much. It's 100% cotton. I've put rickrack at the neckline and I like the feeling that it gives me. I feel bright, I feel cheerful, I feel youthful, I feel well. And so today I'm going to do something a little different on my video. Don't know if you're going to, I don't know how you're going to respond to it, but I'd like you to first of all go, if you are one of these people like I am that sometimes gets up in the morning and are totally bewildered. Where do I start? Maybe you had some kind of um, interruption or something that happened the day before, so you couldn't keep your routine. For us it could be anything. It could be someone needs our help, or something happened with the drain, or we needed a new this or a new that, and that interrupts everything. Or someone came to visit, or we had to go get something. So sometimes you get where you're not as organized as you'd like to be, and getting up in the morning, it can just make your head whirl, make your mind spin. And I know that some people just think they're going crazy because of it. There are other people like Mr. S never have a moment of anxiety. He's just so steady at the helm, and I've got enough nervous energy for both of us. I would make a cat nervous. Anyway, it's sometimes hard. You go around in circles thinking, where do I start? And maybe you've gotten up in the night with a baby, or maybe you just gotten up in the night because you were old like we are. And so I want to start you out today. I don't care what time it is. If you've just got up, or if you got up some hours ago and you still haven't got your act together, what I'd like you to do is go into the bathroom and take care of your appearance, whatever it takes. Do you need to bathe? Do you need to fix your hair? Do you need to take care of your appearance? And put on something that makes you happy, something that cheers you up. Also, something that makes you feel put together enough that you feel you're going to somewhere special, or that you're going to work. But our work at home is so different than work out in the public, because there's a spiritual value to it, there's an emotional value to it, and for the most part it's based on serving those around you and keeping everybody safe and keeping the home so that everyone can be happy in it. So what I'd like you to do now is turn off the video, and when you have taken your time to get dressed into something nice and clean. And I emphasized in my last video, if you even wear an old t-shirt that you like because you like the color, go and give it a press. Iron it. You're going to feel different in it. It has an elegant feeling. Press your clothes, go and get dressed, fix your hair, do whatever it takes to make you feel good. I don't care what time it is now. And then turn the video back on afterwards, and we'll continue. All right, I haven't learned a lot about editing yet, so we're just going to pretend that you turned off the video, that I turned it off, and this is the next part. So now that you're all dressed and you're just ready to go, I might say put your apron on over that, because if you're wearing something nice like this, for instance, I would not just wear this without an apron. I would put an apron on this. This is a house dress, but because it's brand new, I wore it to church yesterday. Just to, the first couple of times I wear it, I'll wear it out to somewhere else or to church, and then after that it becomes a house dress when I make another one. So that's the beauty of cotton. It's so wash and wear. And so now that you've turned the video back on, you're all dressed up, you feel like you're ready for company, or you feel like you're ready to go to work or go somewhere, but you're not going anywhere. You're going to be here. You're going to stay home. And I'm going to pretend that you are my students and that I'm broadcasting from afar to help some of you who feel a little bit crazy in the head in the mornings or whenever you get up, or maybe later that when you couldn't get started. So now I'd like you to go, and I would like you to get a teacup. Everybody has something, whether it's a beaker, a mug, or a teacup, and I've chosen one from my collection that looks like my dress. That makes me feel good, and I like to do things like that. I like to dress according to match the day or the countryside or wherever I am. So get a teacup and put your favorite drink in it. It doesn't have to be tea. I know a lot of people don't like tea, and there are tisanes and infusions and herbal things and berries and all kinds of things, but sometimes a hot drink will help because it I've always felt that it flushes out the viruses out of your body and it clears your mind, and to sit and pamper yourself for a minute. And so now I'd like you to turn off the video and go get yourself a cup of tea and make it, and then come back and we'll have another chat about something else. Okay, now while you have your tea there, um, I would like to talk to you about how you accommodate those around you in your home, your children and your husband, while you get your life together and get the house together. And that is that you have to be careful that you don't go at it with such a frenzy that you are angry and that you're spreading this anger and this anxiety around, and your family gets the idea that housekeeping is not fun, it's not pleasant, and it makes the woman of the house angry. So what you want to do is approach it with a pleasant, loving feeling. And so what I'd like you to do is turn off the video after I tell you this and go get yourself the prettiest piece of paper you have saved in your stash. I've had this for a long time and I've got several copies of it, so I decided to use this today. And I want you to write down three things that you have to do today in order to function, in order for the family to function. Three of the things that are driving you the most nuts. And for me, it will definitely be the kitchen and the dishes, taking out the trash, collecting the trash from around the house, putting it in one big bag and taking it out, which I don't mind at all. I no longer have children here to take my trash out to me, and I enjoy the walk down to the trash barrel down the road, and it's pretty today, and at least I will look nice when I'm taking out my trash when a car drives by. I really don't enjoy looking like something the cat dragged in, although that happens a lot. Um, so make your list, and for me it would be cleaning the kitchen, taking the trash out, and putting in a load of laundry if there's enough to justify running the machine. I know some people think you should do it every day. If you have children at home, yes. I was always my first thing when I got up in the morning, before I even got dressed, to put in a load of laundry. And then I would take my shower and get presentable and create breakfast. So I'm not going to discuss what meal to prepare because I don't know what time it is for you, but you make your list. And so now I want to back up a little bit about appearance, because taking care of your appearance, I want to show you something that has just finally, I've struggled over the years with containers and places to put things, and I have discovered with some of the traveling we've done, um, that this kind of a contraption works the best for me. Amazingly, after all these years, after finding different kind of containers and different kind of zip-up bags and stuff, it opens up like this, and it has all these zip-up places, you know. And I've got a place for my my toothbrush and my deodorant and all that stuff. I'll get a picture of it for you. That this thing is so much more efficient than anything else. I don't have to run from one place to another to find everything. It's all going to be in here. It's not very attractive, but I think my husband got it for free for something in the mail. You know, he's always getting these interesting things and getting two of them, and I get one. So um, that to me is just the easiest thing. Everything's in it. All my supplies, my hair supplies, everything is just in this one place. And I enjoyed it on our last trip because I didn't have a bunch of plastic bags, and I didn't have to have a case, you know. So now that we're back, and we wanted to do one thing. And I would suggest, if you're discombobulated and you don't know where to turn, that your appearance is going to give you that feeling that you're ready to go, that you are ready to, that you mean business. And also, it spreads cheer to those around you. So if you get caught out and you have to run to the grocery store, you don't have to change clothes because you already look okay. And you'd be surprised what it does for other people. I often have to go to a certain section of the grocery store to get some fresh thing that my husband likes, and there's someone that works back there that finally came out from behind her work area, and she said, you know, I see you in here a lot, and you always cheer me up because of your brightly colored clothes. And she said she really appreciated it, and commented on what a drag it is to to watch some of the customers come in who don't look like they've even had a bath. You know, they just she just was so complimentary, and it gives you a feeling of purpose, that you're ministering to people through taking that little extra time. And so can you, for your appearance, so can you think of how this is going to help your children, and how this is going to help your husband? Now, my children are all grown, and I'm still thinking, you know what? I am still raising them. I'm still ministering to them. They are going to have a lot of help over the years. I still wish my mother was alive. She could help me. So you're not finished yet, you know. And if you're older, if you're an older woman, remember that God has a future and a hope for you too. So now I'd like you to turn off the video, and I'd like you to go and clean up the living area. That would be your, I think they call it the lounge in Australia, and in America it's the living room. But it's the one that's closest to the front door. It's the one that everyone's going to see when they come in. And the purpose of this is, if you'll stand in your living room and see all the areas you can see from that room, clean those rooms up too. And it just means clutter. Pick up the clutter, smooth everything, make everything look nice, and don't worry about deep cleaning. I don't mean you need to mop the floor, and you don't need to clean out a bookshelf, and you don't need to get behind the piano and clean it. This is just surface. Clean it up in a surface way, and put a bouquet of fake flowers if you have them, like I have in the background here. This is an interesting candelabra that I've got. And there's almost a joke going around about these candelabras as they go from gift to gift. You pass it around and nobody really knows what to do it. Well, someone finally gave me one. I've seen these, and I've seen them make fun of them too, you know. But I finally got one, and I enjoyed that so much, just putting that there. Absolutely useless, but it is so pretty for someone like me who doesn't live in a high-end type of house. It just gives me such a lift. And I can remember living in a cabin on the homestead, and how important that was to have the teacup. It was such an elegant, bright spot in a world of roughness, in a world of almost just poverty. To have something elegant and like that, that's very lasting, is so important. And so now you can turn off your video and go and do the surrounding areas. Just pick up Just pick up. So turn off the video and go and do everything after you've done the living room. Go and pick up everything and clean it up as though someone might be coming. As we call this stress cleaning, where we hear someone's coming over, you've got 5 minutes, you go pick up everything and stick it in a closet, something like that. So, and then when you come back, we will talk a little bit more about facing discouragement and how to keep up your interest in having a beautiful home. Okay, I haven't learned much about editing yet because I just haven't taken the time, but we'll pretend that I've shut the video off and we'll come back. And now we're back, and I want to talk to you about how important it is to learn to have a picture in your mind of what you want in your house, what kind of life you want, and also to remember to interact around your children. You're going to have to elongate some of these steps. You can't just say, well, today I'm going to do this and this and this on the list, and then just plow through walk all over everybody rudely while you try to get this done. You may have to stop, tie a shoe, wipe a nose, change a diaper, but you go back to the main task. And when you keep that in your mind, you start feeling the stability coming back. You start feeling level-headed. You have to stop, maybe make lunch for everybody, but then you're going to go back and do what is on your list, and you just keep plugging away. And let us not forget that we need to stop and ask God's blessings on our work and ask that He would help us to do it in a way that would glorify Him. And so I'd like you to turn off your video, and I'd like you to take your list, and I'd like you to offer a prayer and ask God for His help. And nothing good can ever be accomplished without God's aid. And I can think of two verses that are so important. And one is, whatever you do, in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord. Now, my husband and I have studied the original languages of the Bible, and one of them is the Koine Greek, and we always enjoy looking up what the original words were. And the name of the Lord means by His authority. And then the other one means, the other scripture was, God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. Now, of course, he's talking about everybody trying to speak the same thing and not giving confusing doctrine or messages or stuff. But for the purpose of being orderly in the home, I like to use that scripture because it reminds me that where there is confusion, there's in your home, disorganization, it can jumble your mind up. It can make you feel crazy. It can make you feel like you're so out of it. So if you will turn the video off and ask these prayers, I'll be right back, and then I want to talk to you a little bit about discouragement. Now, discouragement comes in the form of your work being undone, someone preventing you from doing the work, just illness. And there's also people who have something to say about it too, and they can discourage you. And you're just remarks like, well, you just think you're so perfect. Well, you think this is the most important thing in the world. And you have got to learn to recognize that as aha. They're trying to discourage. That's one of the discouraging things. And anything good that you try to do, you're not going to always have a clear path to do it. There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be people's remarks. There's going to be also your own self-doubt that will stop you. So we want to deal with that by always keeping your eye on the goal. And so then another thing that I wanted to talk to you about was the value of organization. And the reason I'm speaking so fast is because I have to speak as the thoughts come into my head. I don't have a script, and I don't have time to think. I don't have the time to deliver this slowly without forgetting everything. So what's coming to my mind is the belief that what you're doing is incredibly important, and that you need to have a positive attitude towards it, that it will pay off. There is a scripture that says, do not grow weary, or do not be weary in doing well, for in due time you shall reap if you do not faint. And you can see this in little children. They have a task to do and they'll get discouraged, and then they'll fall on the floor and cry and say they can't do it. And many of us have not outgrown that. We're the meltdowns down society. So if you want to reap what you sow, and you're trying to be organized, then you cannot faint. You cannot give up. You might rest a little bit. And if you will, most of us have a box of correspondence that hasn't been sorted, and we haven't kept up with things, or we have something in our sewing room that needs to be sorted out, decluttered, and put into order, or we have cabinets, shelves, drawers, closets, things that need to be organized and orderly. And for those of you that feel a little insane, I would suggest that you get orderly, and every day just clean out something. Just pull out something and clean it out. Don't make it a big deal. Don't try to upset your whole household over it, but open a drawer and clean it out. And the more you do that, the more stable you feel, the more organized you feel. I used to wonder how Mr. S could he just goes through life without aplomb. He has such a stable life, and how does he do it in the middle of a crisis? How does he, I think of all the things he's been through, and how does he keep a level head? Well, I noticed what he does is he organizes something in his office every day. He goes through some files, he goes through card files. He also creates a new schedule list. And if it didn't work from the day before, he just starts over the next day and creates a new list. And so I believe that these things are so stabilizing. A simple act of doing something, and the hands engage the mind, and you feel so much more stable. So first of all, I just want to also cover this idea of pretending, of having an imagination and having a vision. There's nothing wrong with that. I know there are some people that get a little bit picky about that because they don't think it's right to imagine something. But anything that you try to do, whether it's a builder or an architect, they're going to have to imagine in their mind what they want their design to be before they can even write it down. And even someone who writes a book is going to have to imagine what the story is going to be. And if you clean up your house, you're going to have to imagine what it is you want. And I know not everybody feels that they can do that, but there's nothing wrong with that. And it's so important. And we were discussing this in our ladies' Bible class, and I was asking the ladies, what do you do when housework starts to get, where you're just a little exasperated with it, and you have to do the same thing over and over. And one lady said, I just come in and pretend I'm trying to help somebody. I come in and pretend that I'm the maid, or I come in and pretend that I'm a visitor. And she says it makes it's always more fun to take care of somebody else's house than it is your own. And so this is one of the things where if you don't let your children imagine and play house and play, you're depriving them of a great tool. My husband says that one of the things he does when things get to be a little overwhelming for him is that his mind goes back to his childhood when he had the happiest moments or when he had the most success in his youth, and he draws on that. So I think it's so important to try to teach your children to have happiness and a good childhood and enjoy play, because play is very important for the mind if it's constructive, good play. And so to have a home that you really want, you can work with what you have and you can imagine what it is going to be like so that you can have a picture, a vision in your mind of it. And I know that I'm probably going to hear from a lot of people that don't believe in this, but you can take it or leave it. This is what we do. This is what I did when my children were growing up. As a matter of fact, there would be a terrible storm sometimes, and we would decide that, well, this would be a good time to pretend that we're Noah on the ark. What would that be like, And or pretend you're on a ship. Uh, and you could get through a lot of dark days that way and have memories and be happy. So the same thing can be applied to your home. So take care of your appearance. Get a cup of tea, write a list, pray, and pretend and work. And so, thanks so much for coming to visit me today. I do appreciate your contributions, which have enabled me to do this dress and a few other things. And I appreciate you coming to visit me. And oh, I really appreciate your comments because that what makes me interested in doing more. So thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye.